Hello, very warm welcome. Driver ratings for the Bahrain Grand Prix. All 20 drivers covered as we rate them out of 10. For once I didn't do a race reaction because I didn't think it was appropriate after the huge crash for Romain Grosjean. And I will be giving Romain Grosjean 10 out of 10. And for me, absolute bravery. What we saw was basically a miracle. I don't know how he survived. He's gone into the barrier, he's come across the track, Kvyat, gone straight through the barrier, the halo's done its job, he's literally gone straight through the barrier, through the other side, and he's managed to get out, undo his seatbelts. He's got burns to his arms, pulling himself out the halo, then jumping over the fence, lost his race boot, and then he's got burns, broken ribs, but it's an absolute miracle that he survived that. That's the biggest crash I think I can remember. I mean, the safety of Formula 1, the marshals, the FIA, the medical staff, everyone should hold their head up high because, wow, it was horrifying to watch, horrifying. But Romain Grosjean gets 10 and I'm absolutely thankful that he could walk away. Absolute bravery from Romain Grosjean. He gets a lot of stick, does Romain Grosjean. He's not my favourite driver, but let's give him credit. That is probably his F1 career over because he won't be able to do the rest of the season. Obviously he's been dropped by Haas, but if that's his last race in Formula 1, he's never going to forget it. It's bravery at the highest order, and thankfully he could walk away. It was a horrifying crash. When I first saw it, I thought the worst because of the flames. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's gone actually pierced through the barrier, and then not only has he pierced through the barrier, the halo's done its job. If he was unconscious, it's a different story. Somehow he stayed conscious. He's got his belts off. He's pulled himself out. He would have got the burns, and then he's lost his race boot, so he's got burns on his ankles, and luckily the medical staff was there to help him over the barrier, and he was covered in extinguisher. It's a very lucky weekend. Let's get on to the other driver ratings. We had to start with Grosjean. Grosjean deserves 10, and yeah, we wish him all the best and a speedy recovery. It could have been a lot worse. Thankfully he walked away. Alexander Albon 8. Huge crash in practice 2 in the last corner. Good recovery in qualifying. Qualifies 4th where he should qualify. 3rd place. He was running 4th. Perez was ahead of him. Perez blew up. Albon got a podium. A much better weekend for Albon. Max 9. P3 quali. P2 the race. Solid as usual. And expected from Max. World class. Raikkonen and Giovinazzi I would have to give 3. They need more pace at Alfa Romeo. I mean, Giovinazzi out-qualified Kimi. Kimi beat him in the race. Pretty standard for Alfa Romeo. Valtteri Bottas 5. A very standard weekend. He gets P2 in quali, then P8 in the race. I mean, he got a puncture which was really unlucky, but then we didn't really see a fight back by Bottas. It's like I expected him to come back through the field, but it didn't really happen. A lot of lockups, difficult weekend, and he got a puncture which was unlucky but never recovered. Hamilton 10. World class pole once again, still performing even though he's champion. Dominated the race, very easy, and all the drivers deserve credit for racing on after like what they saw. Of course it's their job, but mentally, physically seeing that, and to go racing for 58 laps. Charles Leclerc 5, beaten by Seb in quali, P12, P10 in the race, 1 point. Standard 5 for Leclerc, and Vettel was quite angry about one of his moves. Sebastian Vettel 3, he had a great qualifying, beats Leclerc, but then we see the old Sebastian Vettel in the race. He was awful in the race, and he was very angry about Charles Leclerc's start. P13 in the race for Seb. Lando Norris 9. P9 in quali, P4 in the race. He beat his teammate all weekend, and it's great points for McLaren in the Constructors. Carlos Sainz 8, big failure into turn 1, that meant he had to start from P15, great fight back in the race. P5, great points for McLaren, I was very happy as a McLaren fan. Sergio Perez 9, P5 in quali, has to get a seat for 2021, got a guaranteed podium, he's beating Alexander Albon who he's up against for the Red Bull seat, his engine goes bang and that hands Albon a podium, so terrible luck for Sergio. Lance Stroll 5, qualified pole Turkey, P13 at Bahrain, and then upside down. Kvyat and Stroll touched, racing incident, Stroll goes upside down, wasn't really a big impact, but it looked dramatic because he was upside down. He was fine, not really a big incident to be honest, it just looked worse. So standard 5. George Russell 8, quali star, 0.9 ahead of Latifi, superb, and gets P12 in the race. He just needs a better car, George Russell, he is world class. Latifi 3, P20, 0.9 off Russell, P14 in the race, which is not bad because he beat the Alphas, but is he good enough? I'm not too sure. Ricciardo 7, very close qualifying to Ocon, team orders in the race, again Ocon has to move over, Ricciardo gets 7th. Ocon 7, close in quali, it was like 0.002. Team orders, once again Ocon moves over for his teammate, he finished 9th in the race. We covered Romain Grosjean, I give Grosjean 10. Yeah, 100%, he deserves 10. Yeah. Kevin Magnussen 5. Now I have upped Kevin Magnussen to what I would usually give him because very emotional race for Magnussen. He saw his teammate have a huge crash and he's gone on and raced. Of course it wasn't a great weekend for Haas all round. P18 quali, P17 in the race, but it was an emotional one for Magnussen, seeing his teammate go up in flames. So I give him a bit of a boost. Let's say, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Usually I would give him a bit lower, but I've been kind to him. Danny Kvyat 4, P10 quali, P11 in the race, was involved in both incidents. The one with Grosjean, not that Kvyat did anything wrong, then the incident with Stroll. Kvyat actually got a penalty for that. I would say it was 50-50. Was a bit harsh, that penalty with Stroll, but he was involved both incidents. Gasly 6, P8 quali, P6 in the race. I actually thought Gasly might be a bit higher. He's a Bahrain specialist. Had big tyre deg. I mean, he would have finished a lot lower if not for Perez and the safety car right at the end, because his tyres were finished. But yeah, P6 in the race. I suppose he could have got a bit higher, but there we have it. Qualifying reaction, race reaction. Well, I didn't do a race reaction. Qualifying reaction, no race reaction because I was emotional watching that, and I didn't think it was right to do a race reaction. Like, Hamilton won the race, but it wasn't right to do a race reaction with what I saw. I was emotional, I wasn't myself, so yeah. But it's absolutely remarkable. FIA, medical team, marshals, they acted superbly, and it's absolutely crazy in 2020 that Grosjean has survived that, and no one can complain about the halo anymore because that saved Romain Grosjean's life. So of course the halo's not good to look at, but we've got used to it now. It's been in the sport quite a while, and it saved Grosjean's life, as it did Charles Leclerc at Spa. So we can't begrudge it now. It's here to stay, and it has saved someone's life. Grosjean deserves every warm wisher and bravery at the highest order. I mean, wow. I just don't want to think, because if he was knocked unconscious, we're doing a very different videos, and but the bravery to pull himself out, to jump over the barrier, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Obviously that's going to be it for the season. I cannot see him returning. He's got burns to his arms, his ankles, broken ribs. That could be his last F1 race ever, but maybe this is like a turning point for Grosjean. He's got a family, he's got kids, he's escaped. Well, he has escaped death, in my opinion. As soon as I saw them fire ball, I thought there's no way he survived that. But he had the courage, he had the bravery to pull himself out. I mean, it's just incredible, incredible bravery by Romain Grosjean. And it's amazing he walked away, amazing. Of course, people banter Grosjean. He's not the fans' favourite, but it doesn't matter who it was. We never want to see that again. It was horrible, horrible. Whether it's Hamilton, Leclerc, Grosjean, these drivers are risking their lives. But the safety of Formula 1, I mean, he can walk away from that shunt, piercing the barrier, going through the barrier, the halo literally putting a hole in the barrier. He goes through the other side, he pulls it, undoes his seatbelts, pulls himself out, loses a race boot, jumps over the barrier. The medical team were there to help him, the marshals putting the fire out. It could have been a horrific weekend at Bahrain. Thankfully, Grosjean walks away. He's now in hospital recovering, and hopefully he can make a full recovery and we can see Grosjean back in the paddock. As a spectator, as a fan, and yeah, it would be great to see Grosjean back in the paddock. But yeah, the safety of Formula 1 is amazing, because wow, bit lost for words. That's why I never did. It wasn't right to do a race reaction, and I'm glad that I didn't do a race reaction. I didn't care who won the race, I just wanted it to be a safe race after the lap 1 incident. Qualifying reaction, non-race reaction, driver ratings. In a week's time we will go to Bahrain and do the outer layout, but for me this weekend it's all about Romain Grosjean, and hopefully he can make a full recovery. And yeah, absolutely, it was nothing short of a miracle that he walks away. That's driver ratings. Romain Grosjean, 10. And yeah, wow, cannot believe he walked away. He escaped like death, but amazing safety, amazing courage and bravery by the Frenchman Romain Grosjean.